Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the Japanese Ki-27 sitting at 1.3 battle rating in the Japanese line. Fantastic little bugger turn fighter, energy fighter extraordinaire. I don't want any part of that Sunderland, by the way. Oh, the Sunderland, that back gunner has twice as many guns as my whole plane combined, so you definitely don't want to end up on the backside of that thing. Especially not with a Japanese plane without any self-sealing fuel tanks and all that jazz, because you catch a fire in no time. You guys have probably guessed already what the next episode of my rank videos is gonna be about. Yes, you guessed it. It is gonna be Japan, and it is gonna appear this week. I've got all the footage, I've got most of the clips pre-edited, and now I've got to add voice and then the final editing process. So you're gonna see that video probably, I'm probably planning to do it on Friday. In the meantime, I will have a few reviews for you on some of the rank 1 Japanese planes that I flew out to get the footage. I had some very nice matches in some of them. We already saw the famous Japanese F1M2, the first bomber in their line, and this is their most magnificent fighter in rank 1. You really don't want to be flying anything else, although there is another one that is pretty good. But this one outshines it in almost every department. The Ki-27, the speed department, the maximum speed in this plane at sea level without web is 375 kilometers an hour, and with web 416. At 4500 meters this is 353 without web and 365 with web, and finally at 6500 meters still go up to 313 without web and 318 with web. Now that is pretty decent speeds. He's definitely a faster plane in the faster corner of 1.3 battle rating, and that is quite nice. The top speed in a dive is well, it's acceptable. It's 527 before she redlines and 590 before she rips apart. You do have nice acceleration and energy retention in the plane as well. Here's a nice flight model. Just a shame of the fixed landing gear, otherwise this would have been a beast and it should have been a higher battle rating. But I mean, in real life it would probably been a little bit better then as well. And so goes it in the game as well. Is that the effective dive speed, you would say? The control stiffening already starts at 400 kilometers an hour with the first small tick and a little extra tick at 500. He stays reasonably functional all the way through the rip speed, is already quite quickly beyond that 500 and 527, and if you make a lot of maneuvers you already have problems with ripping earlier. The 590 is when you stay quiet and don't do too much. Elevator stays functional though, and you can pull out of a dive. But yeah, you can rip her if you put some force on the control surfaces. Full on use them. The stall speed in this plane is fantastic with 60 kilometers an hour. That is quite nice for vertical maneuvers, at which this plane really shines. He has excellent vertical energy retention and the climb rate is great, so it is a beast in the vertical, and that makes this plane primarily a energy fighter, although she is also, if not one of the, if not the best turn fighter in the game. Yes, the game. She is absolutely magnificent, and when you see a Ki-27 coming, you should definitely start to be worried. Am I in the good position? Is it above me? If it's above you, you're in a whole lot of trouble if the pilot knows what he or she is doing, because he doesn't really have to give away that position anymore, because of the excellent performance and all the supporting categories that support the energy fighting. Yeah, she's not gonna lose much energy when she gets back up to the same altitude she was. So be very careful and a little bit afraid, so that you think well and make good calculations when fighting this plane. Of course, most of them are piloted by beginner pilots, So, but when you do get that experienced pilot, my god, this thing. The firepower in the plane is average. She has two 7.7 Type 89 machine guns with 500 rounds per gun. He has no bombs, so it's a pure fighter, can't do anything else. No versatility in the tasking there. He can only dogfight and energy fight, and that is exactly what you want to do with this plane because he absolutely shines in it. You can also boom and zoom a little bit in it, but as I said, the top speed in the dive is not that fantastic. There's other planes that have better, even at this better rating. There's another Sunderland. Those bloody buggers. I flew it the other day as well, the Sunderland. It is absolutely magnificent with the 4 7.7s in the back. That is double the firepower that I have. You can have some nice shenanigans in that. Anyway, enough about the Sunderland. This thing. It is absolutely amazing, as I said. Acceleration. Oh no, we were at the gun. So only those two guns, and the ammo load is good. There's nothing to complain about there. 500 rounds for those 7.7s is what you usually get with 7.7. So that's what most planes get, and it's a good ammo load. It takes you quite a while to run through it. The acceleration in a straight line is very good, and in a dive as well. So very good acceleration on this little bugger. The energy retention in the horizontal is great, and in the vertical it is excellent. This plane is a real contender in the vertical, and one of the few planes that can actually do it well at rank 1. There is a few others here and there that excel in it, but this is one of those planes, and that makes it really nice, especially because it's combined with great climb rate. And yeah, excellent performance in the vertical, great for stall maneuvers. The only thing that with this thing doesn't have is the durability. You do get the fires, like with all Japanese early planes. They don't have the self-sealing fuel tanks, and that is a big impediment on the overall durability, which without the fuel tanks would be quite decent still. Can take a hit or two, but as long as those fuel tanks aren't hit, you can still take her home a little bit. So yeah, not too heavily of course, because she's a light plane, but still I found her quite durable, except when you get caught in a fuel tank with a fire. It's difficult then. Even managed to put one off and get back to base. Anyway, yeah, so for the energy retention, I said that the climb rate is also great. The turn time, now here we go, another thing. But this thing is really fantastic. Turn time with or without flaps, it is fantastic. You will outturn pretty much anybody. I think this is the best turning plane in the whole game. The flaps rip off at 300 kilometers an hour, and as you can already reach that in a straight line, you want to be careful with those flaps. They do rip off quite quickly. 300 is not a lot of speed for flaps to rip off. And you reach that speed with this plane a lot. It also has, as I said, good energy retention, good acceleration. So even in turns, as you just saw, we did turn there a little bit. We also put her in a small dive there, but she holds her energy quite well. And yeah, so 300 is nothing. You almost always manage to rip off your flaps with this thing. The roll rate in this thing is above average to decent. Depending on the speed you're in, between 300 and 450, it is decent, and in all other speeds it becomes above average. Still quite good, but here we are in the good speed range here, and you see that it is quite decent. It's not the best, but it is also far from the worst. It's a light plane, and the drag on those wheels you got there doesn't help. Otherwise, it would have been even better. But yeah, I found it quite acceptable. Overall maneuverability is very good, and especially very sharp in the turn time. Initial turn time and sustained turn time both are fantastic in this plane. Overheating is not an issue. Really, you can web to your heart's content. You've seen me web quite a bit in this video already, and he barely gets into the yellow. When you reach amber, you really abuse the plane. And really overheating the plane to red is, well, if you let it go now and then, it's virtually impossible. So yeah, we already talked about durability a little bit. Fires are a problem, but for the rest, can be quite good, as long as you don't catch that fire. You can take a hit or two. As I said, for the flight style, a boom and zoomer is not really made for that, because of the top speed in a dive that is already in the early 500s. She's an energy fighter, at which she is fantastic, and turn fighting as well. Those two areas are where this plane absolutely shines, and in both departments it can take on anybody. You don't have to be afraid for any other plane. You can take on 2-3 opponents at the same time. You turn that good, even if you're late for the approach of one of those 3 opponents. You can compensate, because she is so good. It is just that good. Absolutely is. So, and in the boom and zoom department you can make small boom and zoom runs, but she is not made for that very well. So she's flawed in that, but she can still perform it up to a limit, you know. And it's really, you gotta be managing that carefully. But I would rather be in the turn fighting / energy fighting department in this plane, and switch between those roles. Get the altitude, start with small boom and zoom runs, then energy fighting to your heart's content, and go into a dogfight when somebody gets lured into it and doesn't really understand yet the strengths of this plane, because she's absolutely beast mode compared to most other planes. Yup. But as you see, with most other planes, this small late reaction there would have been a crash. But with this plane, it is not a crash. You can get out of it and get out of the way in no time. Doesn't matter which side you go, it is quickly done. I got the gunner there, but they already hit my engine. Yeah. That engine is quite in the front there as well. It's difficult to not get hit in that. But that's mainly when you get self caught behind a bomber like that. Not a very smart thing to do. Definitely not the best thing to do, but as 2 other planes there were coming in, I thought I was in a hurry. Let myself be lured into that. And get back to the airfield and go back up, go again. Tickets are running out quickly though, so let's see how much more we can get. That P66 though, that guy, we hit him earlier on in the match and he crashed on the runway. Probably we hit his engine or something, and he just didn't come out correctly, but we didn't get that kill. Quite unfortunate. Here, too many risks by me. That plane is already on fire, but I wanted to get the hit, because when AA shoots a plane on fire and you get a hit, you still get the kill. So compensated there for the P66 kill that we didn't get. Sometimes you gotta play it smart, right? Yeah, so in the end the tickets run out with 2 enemy planes still alive, and well, 1 or 2, I believe it was 2, but 6 kills. Nothing bad there. Let's see what we got. We've got Hero of the Sky, Survivor. We got a challenge. We've got 18,000 Silver Lions and 4,000 research points for the modification. 6 kills. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. The Ki-27 otsu. What a magnificent plane. Absolutely one of the best 1.3 planes in the whole freaking game. This thing is absolutely magnificent. I had such a lot of fun in this plane. Ah, man. God damn. Really, it is so good. So good. Energy fighting, turn fighting. A little bit of boom and zooming if you want to, but you have to be careful at the end of your boom. But he's great in the zoom with the climb rate and the vertical energy retention. Oh man. Plane is just absolutely magnificent. It shines in the performance. He's very light, feels very much in control, stable platform for your 2 guns, which is nothing crazy, but you can stay on a plane for a long time. Thus you will get the bullets in until you get the kill. There's no problem there. For the rest, just awesome performance overall. And so yeah, if you like the Japanese, this is one of the planes you gotta grind in. You can grind up until maybe rank 3 and have a blast in this plane. This is one of the planes I would definitely recommend for a talisman. But let me not give away too much. Well, not many of you will have reached it to this part of the video. But you know the Japanese rank 1 video is on the way, and this one will definitely be highly recommended. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.